What's going on, guys? Dwayne here with my investment journey, and I am back again. This is a live stream, and in this live stream, I want to talk to you guys about 4 different ways to make money in the stock market. Of course, I don't pretend to be an expert, nothing of that sort. That's why the name of this channel is called My Investment Journey, because it's about my investment journey. So I'm going to be sharing information here with you guys as to my investments. Not necessarily what I'm investing in, but kind of the journey that I've taken in regards to the stock market and what I'm doing to earn money. I have been in the stock market since 2020. I think initially I invested in 2016. I lost a lot of things and decided to get out of there in 2017 because I didn't know what I was doing. What's going on, Faoud? Thanks for stopping by. It's a pleasure to have you in the building. He says, "Where are you, man? You've been gone for a year now." Yeah, for sure. I definitely have been gone. It's not the easiest thing to explain, just because in regards to YouTube, it's been an interesting journey. So. Yeah, I have been gone for a while. You're not wrong, my friend, but it's a pleasure to have you in the building. I appreciate you very much. Let me see. It's been so long that I need to edit, make adjustments to the settings, for the comments, the colors, all that stuff. It's going to be a minute, but it's all good. But yeah, man, it's a pleasure to have you in the building. I appreciate you jumping in and hitting a thumbs up in this video. That makes me feel pretty good, so I appreciate you. But yeah, man, I just been, chilling, to be honest, because YouTube or any journey that you have where you're posting content can be kind of tricky. And so, longevity it's a thing. And so anyway, I'm back, and I've kind of was thinking about just giving up on the channel altogether, just because the stock market is not for the faint of heart. So like I said, I started in 2016. And then I got smacked around, got out in 2017, and I was down like $4,000, basically. And then 2020, of course, COVID happened, and everybody and their mom decided, yo, this is a good time to invest, and I did as well. So I've been in the market consistently since 2020. And if I'm being transparent right now, I'll show you guys that my portfolio is still very down. Right now, this is clearly live. However, the market's closed today, so the movement that you're going to be seeing is going to be based on crypto. So I have a little bit of Doge, and I have a teeny tiny amount of Bitcoin because it was given to me by Robinhood. So that's why you're seeing movement in my account. Faoud, I appreciate you with the comments, bro. He says, "Thank you for having me here. It's always a pleasure." He says, "I missed the videos." Son John, what's going on? He says, "Dude, where you been at?" Nah, man, it's been an interesting journey. Like I think, for me personally, I have to decide that I'm gonna be doing videos, and it has to come from a good place. And so, as long as I have a voice, I've said that I want to continue to do videos. But life's, and so because life is lifing, from time to time things happen. So you're looking at my portfolio right now, and I'm showing you guys this. My approach in regards to the stock market has changed quite a bit. And so real quickly before I forget, I wanted to talk to you guys about the 4 different ways you can invest in the stock market. And I say 4 different ways, but clearly there are way more than 4 different ways that you can invest in the stock market. Smash the thumbs up if you haven't already. I know there's 2 people watching the live. This is a live stream. If you have comments or questions, slap them into the chat, and I'll do my best to answer. So there are going to be 4 ways that I'll just kind of touch on in regards to making money in the stock market, and then I'll show you and tell you what I've been doing lately, right? So one of the easiest ways to make money when it comes to the stock market is dividend paying stocks. Okay, these are stocks that pay you a portion of their profits, right? So for example, a dividend paying stock, an example would be Walmart. They pay dividends. Home Depot pays dividends. Apple pays dividends. Coca-Cola pays dividends. McDonald's pays dividends. Dr. Pepper. These are Procter and Gamble. These are stocks that, like I said, will pay you a small portion of their profit for being a shareholder. So how it works is you will get X amount of, cents or dollar based on what they decide the dividend payment should be. So I'm going to give you guys an example real quick. I'm going to look up the dividend payment for, let's say, Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. And just to give you guys an example, okay? Just so you guys can have an example of what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna pull up here. I'll share my screen with you guys real quickly. There's 4 people watching. This is a live stream, so if you have any questions, be sure to drop them into the comment section. Please hit a thumbs up on this video. It helps tremendously. So yeah, I'm sharing my screen with you guys right now. And if I click on this link here with the NASDAQ, it's gonna take me to their website and it'll show me the dividend payments here. Well, it says no dividend, no dividend. Okay, interesting. Okay, so that clearly wasn't a good example, which is very interesting. Let's see Apple. I'll just type in Apple because I know Apple pays dividends, and Apple is a stock that I have as well. Click on dividend history real quickly here. And so you can see that Apple is paying currently 26 cents for each share that you own, okay? So a dividend paying stock is a way to make money in the stock market, and as you can see, Apple's paying 26 cents for every single stock that you own. This particular website here on NASDAQ, you can see that it's showing you, I'm looking at the dividend, the ex-dividend dates, right? So these dates here that you guys are seeing on the left side of the screen here, these dates here on the left, these are basically the dates that you need to have shares with Apple in order to qualify for the dividend payment. So the ex-dividend date is basically this date here where you see May 12th, 2025. You need to own shares of Apple before May 12th. So like on the 11th, okay? On the 11th is good. Anytime before the 12th is good, right? It cannot be on the day itself. So on the 11th is good, okay? So if you own shares of Apple on the 11th, you're going to receive 26 cents for every single share that you own, okay? And you're gonna receive that payment right here. The payment date is May the 15th, 2025. So a lot of companies that pay dividends, once again, this is a way that you can make money in the stock market is by using dividend paying stocks, okay? That's pretty straightforward. What that looks like is you can invest your money in solid companies that pay dividends, and if it's a company that you know is not gonna file bankruptcy, at least in your lifetime, right? So that's why I mentioned Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, Walmart, Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson. These companies are probably not going to file bankruptcy in your lifetime. So how dividend payments work is you invest your money, they pay a portion of their profits to you guys, and you basically can get these payments. Some companies pays monthly, like REITs, in the real estate investment trust accounts, they pay monthly dividend payments, and most companies pay quarterly, okay? So that's one way you can make money in the stock market. Sanjan says, life does life. You're not wrong about that, that's for sure. Says, have you considered getting more into crypto? It's a great place to be right now. No, you know what? And this is a great point that you brought up, by the way. No, I haven't considered it just because when it comes to investing or when it comes to just doing anything in general, it's easy to kind of be distracted. And for me personally, I want to stay focused, okay? And staying focused can be, like I said, it can be kind of tricky. I'm sorry, I'm kind of splitting my attention between talking to you guys and trying to set up my software here because it's been a minute since I've done a live stream, and so things are out of whack. But yeah, for me, the thing about the stock market, thank you for smashing the thumbs up, I appreciate you. The thing about the stock market that can be kind of tricky is, or investing in general, or making money in general, is you could be very distracted. You can do this here and then jump to something else. Crypto, Forex, any kind of trading of any sort, it's basically the same concept. And my advice is for people to do whatever they're comfortable with. It's definitely going to take time, and you should be patient in that regard, okay? But me personally, I don't see me getting into it just because I don't. And so, you know, as a human being, we don't know what we don't know. And it's that simple. And I'm not going to kill myself trying to make sure that I'm educated on everything, because everything is very, very vast and it's impossible to be educated on everything. You know, it's a journey, I guess, that most can attempt if they'd like, but I know better. So I'm just going to stay in my lane and try to stay focused. And that's a hard thing to do, staying focused, sticking to the plan. So anyway, so dividend payments is one way to make money in regards to the stock market. Another way is to invest in growth stocks, stocks that basically the price of each share is going to increase over time. Those are growth stocks. JR Hill, what's going on, my man? Says, hello, Dwayne. How you doing today? I'm great, man. I'm incredible. Life is good. All I see is brightness, positivity. The future is bright, just because that's where I'm at right now with my mindset, and that's where I'm going to reside. So yeah, growth type stocks would be the second way to kind of make money in the market. And an example of a growth stock would be like Amazon or Apple or Nvidia, right? These are stocks that in time, the price will continue to go up over time, right? That's a growth stock. So like if you invest today and Apple is $200 today, the hope and the plan is to continue to put money into companies like Apple, right? That's a growth company. And Google, Amazon, right? And in time, instead of being $200 per share, in the next 5, 10, 15 years, it's going to be $400 per share, right? So if you go from 200 to 400, technically you would double your money, right? So that's one concept. Another concept to make money in the stock market would be like if you invested in ETFs, okay? ETFs are a cool way to invest just because it's kind of built in diversification for the people that are obsessed with diversification. I'm going to show you guys an example of an ETF that I'm invested in. I've been invested for quite some time. I'm going to show you guys a Vanguard ETF, and I've been invested in this one for a while. I actually sold some shares, which, you know, wasn't smart, but desperate times calls for desperate measures. So as you guys can see, I have this pulled up here on the left hand side. It's telling you the market value, which is basically what it's valued at right now. It's telling you underneath that $31,000. It's telling you today's return, which was Friday's return. It was negative $80. My total return is, it's up $11,000, which is 53%. When it comes to percentages, as far as like total returns, percentages can be a very tricky thing, because most people, if it's a small percent, or if you have small amount of money invested, it's hard to really understand, you know, that 50% of something back is a huge return, right? If you're investing $100 in the stock market and you're up 50%, or it's a 50% return in regards to that $100, it's just $50. So now you have $150, right? The same is true if you were investing $100,000. Clearly, the same 50% is $50,000, and clearly that sounds a lot more impressive and valuable. But you know, it's still the same 50%, and we always, like I say, we always kind of diminish something when it's a smaller number. You know, another example would be, you know, in regards to like losing weight, right? You jump on the scale and then the scale says that, you know, you're down, you know, half a pound, you know, half of a pound, right? A lot of us don't know what to do with that. We kind of undervalue being down half a pound because it's only half a pound, right? Not understanding the power of compounding, right? Not understanding of the power of continue to stack these days, continue to stack these weeks where you're down half a pound, right? And in time, you're going to get to your goal. No, it's not as fast as you want, but you know, it's a little harder to appreciate something if you accomplish it fast. That's just my opinion, all right? So yeah, that would be an example of an ETF. So that particular ETF, VGT, is a technology-driven ETF. So it says Vanguard Information Technology ETF. And so this particular ETF is more geared towards tech, right? And I'll show you guys the top 10 holdings of that particular ETF. So this ETF has 322 companies. I have it right here where the mouse is, 322 companies. And then of course, if I show you guys the top 10 holdings of the companies, right, you can see Nvidia You see Microsoft, Apple, Broadcom, Palantir Technologies, another good one, Oracle, Cisco, Salesforce, IBM, and Intuit, right? So that would be an example of an ETF. And that particular one's probably a little more growth, geared towards growth. There are ETFs that are geared towards dividend payments. There are ETFs that are specific to electric companies, or ETF that's specific to the energy sector, you know, maybe like oil and gas, that type of thing. So you can kind of find what you want, okay? So that's another way to invest, is to invest in ETFs. And then of course, another way would be to trade stocks, buy and sell stocks, right? So I just real quick recap. I talked about dividend paying stocks. I talked about growth stocks. I talked about investing in ETFs, and I'm talking about trading stocks. So trading stocks can be swing trading, right? Which would be you hold it, you buy it, you hold it for a minute, and you sell it, right? The thing is, nobody knows and nobody can tell you when to really sell it. That's the thing about the stock market that can be kind of tricky, is that you don't ever really know, like, yo, now is a good time to sell. And the more you invest, the more you stick it out and stay in the market, is the more knowledgeable you'll become, you know? By the way, if you haven't smashed the thumbs up in this video, please smash the thumbs up. It helps tremendously. And so for me, you know, the longer I kind of stick around in the stock market, the more I get used to certain things. Let me jump in these comments here real quick, and then I'll show you guys my portfolio. So let me jump into the comments here. Sunjohn says, IBM pays dividends too, never going anywhere. That's a fact, Jack. JR Hill says, happy early birthday. Man, let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. My birthday's around the corner on Tuesday. Your boy will be 47. And I cannot tell you how incredible it is to be 47 coming up, and how I'm in such a good place. And I'm talking about a good place here. You know, I'm in a good place with everything. And, you know, in general, life's never going to be perfect. I'm sure I can always find something to cry about, so I'm not going to do that. Laney says, it is essential that you have a system and stick with it. Absolutely. I mean, and let me tell you, right, like, the United States is the best place when it comes to distractions, you know. And a lot of us, like, we're just living life and we're not really paying attention, you know what I mean? We're so unaware, and I'm so happy and grateful because I consider myself fortunate, because I'm aware of life. I'm aware of what I'm doing, the choices I'm making. You know, it's not just I'm gonna work really hard and treat myself with this material thing and go on this trip and buy these clothes and have this status, right? And have this house. Like, it's so silly, but clearly a lot of people are distracted by that their entire life. All right, let me show you guys my portfolio right now, just because I want you to see kind of what's going on. So right now, you're looking at, let me see, you guys can't see it on your screen. Yeah, you can't see it. But right below the amount, right, you can see the amount, 262,000, right? Below that, if you go down, you can see it's on 1D, which means 1 day, right? Then if I click on 1W, it shows you what has been happening in my portfolio the last week. So you can see the last week, June 16th, it was at 280, right? At that particular time. Of course, you're just showing the movement here in my account. 264, then this was, I guess, a week, this was Thursday, right? It's a holiday. 268 on that particular day, right? Then now it's at 262, as you guys can see. But this is the thing that's real interesting, right? If I show you guys the last month, and I'm going to show you the last 3 months, and so on and so forth. So here's the last month. Portfolio is up 29,000. The last 3 months, the portfolio is up 88,000, right? The last year to date, from January till now, right? From January 2025, you can see on January 6th, the portfolio was at $305,000, which is always good to be up. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, so that happened. Also here on April 8th, you see that, right? You see that, right? 89,000. You see, are you seeing that, right? January 8th, 305,000, right? And then over here, 89,000. Let me get it right. 89,000. Okay. this 1 year basically is talking about from June of last year, right, 218 to June now, right? And then this is the money shot right here, all time, right? All time, we have that my portfolio is down $22,000. So this is what I'm talking about. When I started to invest initially, I started way back here in 2016. Now, it's not going to show you guys the amount that I had invested in 2016 because this is my all-time investment on Robinhood. But I was down about $4,000, okay? Once I, not 4,000, almost 4,400, right? So once I got out of the market here, you see there's not a lot of movement going on here from September 2017. I got out, I didn't do anything, and then I jumped back into the market around May of 2020, I think it was. May 2020 is when I jumped in. So what you're looking at right now, it's showing you the amount of money that I have invested in Robinhood, okay? So it says negative $4,399. That's because of what I was doing back in 2016 when I got smacked around and took all my money out. Since May of 2020, I have invested $280,000 into the stock market. Okay, so what you're looking at now is the entire picture of what I've experienced since May of 2020. So May of 2020, right? I got in there. I did not invest 280 right off the bat, right? It was like 50,000 here, or it was like 80,000 initially, that type of thing. But since May, I've put into Robinhood $280,000, and as you can see, since that's the amount I have invested, I'm down. I'm at 262. Okay, 262. Okay, it's saying I'm down 22,000, but the 22,000 includes the 4,000 from back in 2016, which I'm not counting. Okay, but it's just giving you that stat. So as you can see the roller coaster that I've been on in regards to this, right? 280. Then of course November 1st, 2020. From I'm at 222. I'm down $63,000. Okay. Then of course you can see here, January 1st, 2022. I'm up $42,000. Which includes the negative 4,000 from 2016. So I'm really up $46,000. But whatever. 42,000, right? And then of course you see here, 43,000. I'm up 43,000. April 2022. Then here we go. We got this thing that happened January 1st, 2023. My portfolio was down $126,000. Okay. As you can imagine, that doesn't feel good. I'm up August 1st, 2023. And of course, this is the kicker over here, April 1st, 2025, where it says I'm down $133,000, right? So obviously that's not a fun thing to experience in regards to investing, okay? But what I've learned is that when you have the experience of enduring those highs and lows and letting your money sit there, okay, you go through all of those emotions. And trading in the stock market, if you're a stock trader or just investing long term in general, it can be tricky. Now, the reason my portfolio looked like that is based on the companies that I invested in and based on the things that I was doing with my particular account, okay? So better believe when I got started, it's not like I knew, I need to invest in these companies and, it's all good, right? Like back in 2016 when I got smacked around, I wasn't invested in Apple, right? Which is stupid, right? Even in 2020 when I got started in 2020, I wasn't invested in Apple, right? I didn't invest in Apple. So I got started May 2020. I think I bought Apple and Tesla like August 2020. And the reason I know it's around August is because they had a stock split. And, I didn't really know much of anything when I was like, okay, that's cool. And so they had a stock split and I bought Apple and Tesla. And I held Apple and Tesla from 2020, and I actually sold all of Apple and all of Tesla this week, right? I sold them this week, and I bought some back since then, right? So if you guys are looking at my portfolio here on the screen, you can see here, well, you can't really see it, but right where it says buying power on the screen, right? Buying power, kind of, sort of, not in the middle, but a little towards the bottom of the screen, right? Buying power. And you see $134,000. That's not my money. The 134 is not my money. I'm using what they called margin investing. And so margin investing is basically a way that allows you to borrow money from your stockbroker. It's a loan, right? Clearly, and they charge you interest, right? They charge you interest daily, right? But nobody pays interest daily, right? We just make our payments to our credit cards or our car loan once a month. By the way, smash the thumbs up in this video if you haven't already. If you have any questions, slap them into the comment section. All right, I love to answer. So yeah, so margin investing, that's why my buying power is so high. So what I've been doing lately is I have been trading stocks, and I have been buying and selling. And so because I'm using margin investing, it gets me, access to more money, which I can use and leverage and make money in the stock market. So what I've decided to do is I've decided to basically treat investing like a full-time job. I want to make money from the stock market, and I want to use that money to, to life. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I do have positions where I'm not going to sell them, or I'm not going to trade them. But I have been very, very busy in regards to buying and selling stocks. And so let me tell you, it's been a hell of a journey, but I'm in a good place. Right now, I'm putting on the screen my iPhone. You guys can see I'm sharing my iPhone screen with you. Let me get this out the way. And let's put the iPhone screen here. Okay, so I'm sharing that with you. Okay, once again, if you guys have any questions, slap them into the comment section. So I'm sharing with you my iPhone screen, and thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. And as you can see, right, you see the buying power here for 134, right? Then you see the value of my account, right? It's on the screen. But what I'm going to show you now is what I've been doing in regards to my account, right? I have been buying and selling stocks, and it's been an interesting journey, because I think what's very important to kind of keep track of in life is that it's important to know that all the things that you're doing, all the things that you've experienced is, in a way, it's to make you who you are and to bring you to where you need to be. And so the reason I'm saying it that way is because, I struggled a lot in regards to the stock market, and all the struggles I had, all the ups and downs, has brought me to where I am right now, which is I'm basically trading stocks. So as you can see here, I don't know why it doesn't have it on the desktop, but it does have it. Whatchamacallit, on the iPhone, right? But you can see it says realized profit and loss. Okay, I didn't really understand what this was. This kind of showed up this year, I feel like, in 2025, and so this year 2025, I said, okay, I'm gonna buy and sell stocks, right? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make money. And so, I was doing my thing, and then I noticed this stat, realized profit and loss, and I'm like, okay, what is this, right? So I realized it, and I started to pay attention that, like, when I bought and sold stocks, it would tell me if I, earned money or if I lost money. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So you guys can see here on the screen, it says for the past month, it says I'm up $108,000, right? Clearly that's a big deal, right? Then it says for year to date, I'm up $146,000. Now, you have to understand, I am using margin investing, right? So even though it's saying that I'm up, right? Yes, I'm up in a way, but because I'm using margin investing and I'm borrowing so much money from Robinhood, okay, it kind of affects it. They don't show what's going on in my portfolio, right? My portfolio, the 262, that's just what it is, okay? That's not gonna move based on me buying and selling stocks, right? Because it's just separate, okay? Which is kind of cool. All right, but if I click on this here, you guys can see, so at the top of the screen, you see it says max, right? If you guys have any questions, slap them into the comment section. It says max. So it's basically telling you that where have I been since 2024? So you can see here, it's telling you since 2024, okay, it says that I'm up $39,000 since 2024. Now, if you look at this chart, right, this is showing you everything. If you look at this chart, you can see that there are a lot of reds. There are more reds going on here than anything, right? If I click on this one here, this is, what is this? This is back to January 1st to January 21st, right? 2024, it says negative $10,000. If you can see the top right of the screen, it says negative $10,000. The next one over, January 22nd to February 21st, right? It's basically going month to month, right? You can see it says negative $70,000. Okay, the first one was negative 10, negative 70, that's 80 G's. The next one over, negative 2,000 and change, 82 G's. The next one over, another 2,000, that's 84, right? $84,000 negative from 2024, right? Then of course you see April 22nd to May 21st of 2024, up 21,000. The reason why it's such a big difference is sometimes I'm selling positions that I've had for a while. So I didn't really know what the hell was going on because I wasn't trading stocks at this time. I was just kind of buying and selling, but I didn't really have a plan. And once again, this is what I mean when I say that a lot of things in your life are preparing you to be a certain way. You know, a lot of times we like to think to ourselves, we've done this, we've done that, and none of it's really connecting. You know, we make all these random dots throughout life, and sometimes if you're lucky, we can connect the dots. And the thing that you did over here that was so random, now it makes sense because you can connect the dots. And so that's what I'm showing you guys, that I was, kind of having the journey without really paying attention. I wasn't buying and selling stocks. Trust me, I was not, okay? But I was dibbling and dabbling and just kind of trying to find my way, trying to find a way to be successful, because for me, failure is not an option, right? So you can see June 22nd to July 21st, down 19 G's. The next month, down 15 G's. The next month, down 20,000 G's. The next month, down 3,000. The next month, down 14,000. And then here, November 22nd to December 21st, 2024, it says I'm up 24,000. But once again, I want to remind you that's because I probably was selling some positions, some companies that I had for a while, okay? So then the next month, up 7,000, right? So you could see, like, out of all these months, basically 12 months, there's only 3 months that are green, right? From January 2024, all the way to January 2025, there's only been 2 months, really, from January to December, 2 months that were green. So I was red 11 times. Is that right? Let me get it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10. Okay. So, and then so January 2025, it's green. Okay. February 2025, you can see I'm down 8,000. Then of course February to March of 2025, I'm down 36,000. Right. Then March 22nd to April 21st, I'm down 7,000. So basically the start of 2025 was okay-ish. I got smacked around, so that's 8,000 from January 22nd to February 21st. Down 8,000, down 36, right? Let's call it 44,000, 45,000. Then another 7,000, right? So let's say $52,000. $52,000 I was down. Right, basically, right? And then you can see April 22nd to May 21st. It says I'm up $86,000, right? And then of course, May 22nd to June 21st, it says I'm up $108,000, okay? Clearly something happened in that time, right? So as you can see at the top of the screen again, if I click on year to date simply just means from January to this month. So this breakdown is a little different. You can see here January 1st to January 4th. These are weekly breakdowns here, as you can see, right? So weekly breakdowns. So it was going well in the beginning. I was excited. I'm going to trade in the stock market. That's what I told myself. I'm going to trade and make money, right? So January, okay, the first week I'm up 3,700. The second week I'm down $61. The third week I'm up $1,100. Okay, feeling good, right? The next week I'm down $5,000. The next week I'm up 3,500. The next week I'm up 8,000. Okay, well, I'm not really up, right? Because if I'm down, that means that these things are balancing itself out. And then, of course, I got smacked around when Trump did the thing about the tariffs. February, you can see I'm down 15 G's. February again to March, I'm down 33,000, right? So I remember this point, these 3 red weeks here, I was down like $55,000. No, I'm sorry, 55,000. I was not happy, right? So, okay. Eventually, you can see here, April 6th, I'm up 13. The next week, I'm 3,000. The next week, down 4,000. The next week, 2,000. As you can see, something clicked here. May 4th, okay, I'm up 28,000. May 11th, I'm up. I'm down here May 18th to the 24th. That was the last time that I made the decisions to kind of do the things that I was doing in regards to the stock market. I decided to go a different approach. And so since then, as you can see, I've pretty much had 4 green weeks in a row, right? So you can see right here, May 25th to May 31st, up 15. The next one, up 26. The next one, oh, okay, there are 2 26s back to back, right? And then, of course, you see 49,000, but the 49,000 there is because I sold Apple and Tesla, like I said, right? So this is a 3-month outlook. What's happened in the last 3 months? All right, I'm up 186,000 in the last 3 months. And then, of course, this is the last month. I'm up 108,000. This day here is me selling Apple and Tesla, which is why it's all the way up 41,000 right there. And then, of course, the last week, I did tell you guys that I sold Apple and Tesla that week, so I'll show you here. Right there, well, you can't see, but let me see if I scroll down. Yeah, let me see. If I hit show all, show you guys June 17th real quickly, because I want you to see that, when I sold Apple and Tesla, how, it's a big chunk of money, right? So you can kind of see here, I sold Amazon here, 4,000. I sold Google 2,000. I sold Apple 8,000. I sold Tesla 25,000, right? But I've been holding Tesla and Apple since 2020. I sold a little bit of Apple here and there, right? But I definitely was holding Tesla, like I said, since 2020. And I don't know how I zoomed in. I need to learn how to do that. Yeah, I need to learn how to do that. So, yeah, it's been an interesting journey. It's been an interesting journey, but that's kind of what's been going on, and I am, gonna be just kind of documenting my journey. Now basically, I'm a trader. I'm pretty much a trader, and when you invest in the stock market, it can be interesting because you can be married to your investments. You can be married to certain stocks, and you don't want to sell those stocks. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I never want to sell, and blah blah blah, right? Nobody tells you when it's the right time to sell and take a little profit and make a little money. And that's why it's very important for you to have a very clear strategy in regards to the stock market. It's very interesting because it's not like there's a right and wrong way to make money in the stock market, okay? Or in life, right? That's what I love about the United States is we have countless ways to make money. Countless. And when you're able to make money, and it's especially if it feels easy to you, it makes you have a different relationship with money. I'll give you an example. I drive Uber, right? I drive Uber in Houston, and I think the most money I've ever made driving Uber was $425 in one day, and I was logged into the Uber app probably 16 hours, right? I did not drive the 16 hours because Uber only allows you to drive 12 hours, right? But they only count driving when you are driving to pick somebody up right? Because it's a scheduled trip. And then of course, when you pick them up and drop them off, that's the only time it counts, right? So after you drop them off and you end the trip and you're sitting there for 30 minutes, you're still logging the 30 minutes online. You're not getting paid for the 30 minutes, but you're online. So I think I was online for 16, 17 hours and I made $425, right? Now, clearly, somebody that has never made $400 in one day from working, that's a good day's work, right? 16, 17 hours, not so much, but you couldn't convince me that that wasn't good, right? Because that's $425 in one day, right? Some people get paid $500, $600 every 2 weeks, right? So it's an interesting thing. So you kind of get a different perspective. And because I like money, because I know money gives me choices and options and freedom, right? I would kill myself driving Uber. Like, why not? Like, this is easy money, right? I'm just driving, right? And I don't have to listen to somebody tell me what to do. I don't have to have a boss. I don't have to deal with any kind of ill treatment or racism, right? Because let's be honest, your boy had to deal with racism, right? Because that's just what it is. Everybody has their own plight, right? So yeah, I'm grateful. But like, when it comes to making money in the stock market, and there's so many different ways to make money. When I tell you my relationship with money has changed, you know, it's insane. It's insane. If I go back to my screen here and show you guys, right? I can show you guys like how ridiculous it is when you make money, right? So if I'm gonna scroll down and show you guys like last week's what happened last week. Okay, so let's start from like June. Let's do like June 9th, right? Because June 9th was a Monday. Okay, so June 9th is a Monday. So we're here on June 9th. Okay, so you see, I made $2,000. I sold with Palantir, right? Then I made 9,000. Well, the 9,000, it's pretty straightforward. I was holding this for a while. Okay, so let me click on it and show you guys a little history, right? So it tells you right here, you know, I had 1,500 shares at $130.60. You can see that. And then when I sold, it was $132. So I made $2,000. Okay, great. The next one right above that where it said $9,000. Okay, it was $122 a share. I had 1,000 shares, and when I sold it, it was $131. So this was clearly, well, not clearly to you guys, but it was something that I was holding for a while. Okay, that's not fair. Let's go to the one right above it, June 10th, because this is a totally different day, right? Totally different day. That was June 9th at the bottom. June 10th, the next day. So I had 1,000 shares at $130.76. I sold at $132. I made a profit of $1,236. That's June 10th, right? The next one right above it, June 10th again, right? I'm sorry. The next one right above it, June 11th. June 11th, $1,701. Another June 11th, right above it, $1,500, right? Another June 11th, right above it, $394, $97, right? So look at that. That's 4 trades, 5 trades. Oh my God, I went crazy that day. I didn't even realize that, right? So this day alone, June 11th, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades with the same company. June 11th here, right? On the right side, $1,700 with Palantir, $1,500 with Palantir, $397 with Palantir, $863 with Palantir, $225 with Palantir, $70 with Palantir. That's all June 11th, right? Right above that, June 11th, $525 with a different company, HIMS. Right above June 11th, $267 with a different company, BBAI. The next one, right above it, June 11th, Tempest AI, $132, okay? Now, I'm clearly sharing that because I am just sharing my journey in regards to investing in the stock market. The reason why, you know, that type of result is there is because of all the time that I've paid from 2020, all the failures that I've had from 2020, right? Now, I I finally found something that works for me. I finally find a way to make money in the stock market, you know, and I'm not selling anybody anything. I'm not telling you, yo, let me teach you. I'm never going to do that. Like, well, at least I think I'm never going to do that, you know. As far as I know, I'm not going to do that. I don't plan on doing that. You know, I'm sure I could, maybe, right, at one point, but I don't think so, right? So I've endured a lot to be where I'm at right now. You know, let me just remind you guys, if I share my screen with you guys, let me just remind you that, like, my portfolio, you feel me? My portfolio was out of control. Like, if I click on all and show you guys all time, right? Sorry. I don't know why this thing is so zoomed in. Let me zoom out a little bit. There we go. There we go. Hey, zoomed out. Figured it out. Okay. So all time, let's not forget. Let's not forget all time. Your boy was down $126,000. Right? Right? Another time over here, I'm down $133,000. Right? So it makes sense. It makes sense that finally, after getting smacked around, I finally am doing something that makes sense for me. I'm finally seeing the fruit of my labor, type of thing. And with that being said, I want to encourage you, you know, to take your time and be patient on whatever your journey is, you know. And it's such an interesting thing because it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. Like, yes, be patient. Yes, take your time, you know, but still have a sense of urgency. Still be moving forward. Still be progressing. Don't take your time so much so that, oh my God, it may take you 15 years to become the healthier version of yourself, right? If it takes 15 years, I think it's safe to say you did not have a sense of urgency, right? So I think, like, that stuff is worth it, you know? For me personally, a lot of things that I've done in my life started with my mindset, right? Because that's the first step. The first step is you got to get your self-talk right. You got to get your self-talk right. You know, your self-talk, the way you talk to yourself, the way you see things, it's super important, right? And so you got to do things that make sense. You got to do things that kind of nourish that and kind of support that foundation in regards to how you see life. I'm not a big manifestation type of guy, right? But clearly words have power, and how you see things will affect your life. That's just 101. That's common sense, right? So it's been an interesting journey, and, you know, I'm gonna, you know, hopefully continue to show you guys what's going on with me. I see I only have one viewer in the building now. I appreciate you, one viewer, whoever you are. Say hi in the chat real quick just so I can see who it is, because I'm curious. I cannot see who's watching. I just know that someone is watching. You know what I mean? But say hi if you want to, if you feel comfortable. If you don't, that's cool. But yeah, it's been a hell of a journey. You know, it's been a hell of a journey. And you know, okay, JR Hill, appreciate you, man. Says great live stream and information. Catch you on the next live stream. Bye for now. Have a great weekend and week. Thanks, man. I appreciate you, bro. You have a good one as well. I'm gonna wrap it up right now. So yeah, but it's been good. You know, it's just a friendly reminder. You know, when in regards to the stock market, there's lots of ways to make money. And in this video, I talked about the 4 ways. Or I talked about 4 ways, right? I talked about dividend-paying stocks, growth stocks, ETFs, and of course, trading, being a stock market, being a trader, right? You trade stocks, right? Anyway, that's going to be it for this one. I appreciate you guys for watching. I appreciate anybody else that's going to watch this video back, because it's going to be up on YouTube. All right. I'll see you guys in the next one, of course. All right. Until next time, take care and be blessed. Peace. All right. Later.